And it's only recording me anyhow, so we're all good. Anyhow, if you're watching this after the fact, I am Ross Cessna. This is the Mystical Development Meetup, and we do this live every Sunday. You can join us. There's information in the description. And before we get started and draw a card, let's just kind of take a moment and center ourselves and get quiet. So sit however's comfortable for you, preferably with your back straight and your eyes shut. And just come into stillness. And if you're having a hard time kind of quieting down, just focus on your breath for right now. We'll sit here for a little bit longer. We're going to take a deep breath in through our nose. Hold it for a second. Exhale out through your mouth. Pause. And then take one more deep breath in. And just resume a natural breathing pattern here. So we are actually going to use an oracle card deck tonight, not a tarot card deck. I just feel like doing something a little bit different and seeing what comes up. And Goddess of Fire comes up. So in my understanding in esotericism, goddess energy or feminine energy is not associated with gender so much as an expression of the energy. And that energy is often, feminine energy in esotericism is often passive. So it's not as active, it's more receptive, and then it's also more intuitive. And then fire in esotericism is typically about creativity or desire or passion. So to me, this card speaks of, on one hand, learning to be more passive with your desires, like letting the things that you want come to you. And then on the other hand, slowing down the creative process and taking more of a receptive stance towards that. In Western culture, we're often very goal and objective oriented, especially even in things like creativity, when oftentimes slowing down and allowing things to unfold and accumulate due to their own kind of gravity is not as common, and it's really uncomfortable for many of us too. So to me, this is kind of about stepping back, listening to yourself more, and allowing some of the things that you're trying to create, or allowing some of these different things that you might be passionate about to, I don't want to say manifest because that's not the right word, but to take on the energy of themselves. And I guess in Eastern philosophy, this is like non-attachment is the best way I can put it. And it's not wanting things, it's not being concerned of if they actually arrive one way or another, right? So I think that that's a good enough explanation for now. And we can kind of think about this when we go through the relaxation exercises and the meditation. And then when we get to the end of things and we have our discussion, I'd love to hear everybody's thoughts about what this means to them on a personal level, or what came up from them from how I see it. Because I'm definitely not the authority on any of this. It's just my perspective. And with that, let us switch the camera view. And for any of these moves, do what you can or make any adjustments that you need to, so you're not putting yourself in uncomfortable positions, or so you're not doing what you're incapable of doing, right? The whole point of all of this is to be gentle with yourself. We're going to start doing Tai Chi. Normally we do it a different way, but we're going to start doing Tai Chi. And if you need to do these sitting, or whatever's comfortable. Even just doing these movements will still be helpful, or even just syncing your breath. Do what you can, and don't feel bad about it, right? So we're going to start like this. And with Tai Chi, when you rock forward, you want to breathe out. And when you rock back, you want to breathe in and lift up your toes. And we'll do that again. Breathe out. We'll do one more. And when we close a set, we do what's called like closing the energy. And it's just that motion there kind of grounds in the energetic work that we're doing, or so I've been taught. And next we will do it on the other side. Breathe out. And then we're going to close it out and take a wide stance. Now for these, I should have said this at the beginning, but I'll get to it now. You're going to want to watch me on the first one if this is your first time, and then follow me on the next set just to get a better grasp of it. And thankfully, you don't have to worry about looking awkward because nobody's watching you. I get all the awkwardness and uncomfortableness of it, right? So you're going to start with one hand on the bottom, one hand on top, and you're just going to find a nice slow pace here and a nice even rhythm with your breathing, just kind of natural. When you get to the other side, you're going to roll your hands like this and come back. And we'll do it again. You can join in this time if you didn't join in on the first one. And the reason I like to do these moves before we meditate is I was taught that there's a system for meditation that many Westerners don't actually practice. And part of that is doing exercise, or it would traditionally be asanas or things like that from yoga prior to meditating. I personally don't know yoga well enough to instruct it. We're going to close this out. But I do know this Tai Chi and a couple other things good enough to where I can do that with confidence and we can still get the same benefit. Because this is my daily practice. Like I do this every day. Next thing we're going to do is form a ball of energy in between your hands, like this. And watch me on this one. If this is your first time, join in on the next one. And we're going to rock forward, breathe out. Rock back, breathe in. Rock forward, breathe out. You can join in now if you haven't already. And then close it out. Same motion on the other side. And we're going to rock forward, breathe out. Rock back, breathe in. And we will do one more. And then close it out. Now, this next movement is very similar, but there's a little bit of a difference. So we're going to start and we're going to breathe out. Breathe in. Make the ball again. Breathe out. Breathe in. And again. And then close it out. Same motion on the other side now. close it out. And we're going to do one more similar movement. This one, we start out down here, and you're going to breathe in, lift your toes up. Breathe out, rock forward. Breathe in, lift your toes up. Breathe out, rock forward. One more. And then close it out. And breathe in. Oh, wait, I did it the wrong way. Sorry about that. Breathe in. And one more. And then close it out. We have one more exercise with our ball of energy, and we're going to turn wide like this. One hand on bottom, one hand on top, and you're just going to breathe and find a nice even rhythm with your breath. And go back one more time. And then close it out. Next move. Again, if it's your first time, watch the first one, join in afterwards. You're going to put both of your hands flat in front of you like this. So it looks like you're pushing on a wall. And you're going to breathe out, push forward. Pull back, breathe in, lift your toes up. And one more. And then we will close it out. Same movement on the other side. Close it out. For the next one, position yourself like this. One leg forward with the same hand forward, one leg back with the same hand back. And for this one, we're going to breathe in. Lift your toes up like that. Breathe out. Close it out. Same thing on the other side now. Close it out. And this is kind of our last Tai Chi move. You're going to put your right hand or a hand down flat. I did all so good the whole time, not saying what side. And you're just going to breathe in and move like this slowly. Again, just finding your own even pace of breathing here. When you get to the other side, you're going to cross your palms and go back the other way. And it was explained to me that this movement in particular, cloud hands, it's called, is good for kind of resetting your energetic field. And as we get ready to end one week and begin another, I find this to be a very appropriate way to kind of start everything off. And before we move on to the next stage of this, if you feel comfortable with it, put your hands in front of you in prayer like this, fold it into a lotus, open or offer the lotus to the universe, let it open up, and then just kind of bow and honor yourself and everyone else for showing up for this part of the practice. And we are going to move down onto the floor now. Actually, let's start this way. We're going to start with cat cow. And if you've done this before, you can follow along. If you've not, again, the main thing here is to be gentle with yourself and be kind. But you're going to get in tabletop. You're going to breathe in, lift your head up, breathe out, arch your back, breathe in. And then come into a seated pose. Now, one of the things that I like to start to do once I get in the seated pose is just circle my wrist and my ankle like this, kind of relieve any tension, and then go back the other way. We generally store a lot of tension in weird places that we don't think. And for me, this is just one of them. You might be good there, but I think a lot of us probably have tension here to some degree. Then go back the other way. Then come into just a regular seated position. And before we go any further, just take note of how you feel, particularly before we do this part of the practice. And then let's get to it, right? Interlace your fingers like this. Put them behind your head, but don't really put any pressure on your head so you're not pushing your head forward or anything. So your arms are just back there. And breathe in, and then dip to your side. Breathe out, come back to center. Breathe in. Center. Breathe in. Center. Breathe in. Center. And we'll do one more. Breathe in. Center. One more set, rather. I'm sorry. Breathe in. Center. Let your arms come down for a second and just notice how much different you feel after doing that move in particular. It should be a little bit easier to breathe. It should maybe relieve any middle to upper back pain as well. We're going to do one more similar move. So put your hands up again like this without putting pressure on your neck. And you're going to breathe in this time and turn to the right like this. Look over your shoulder. Breathe out, back to center. Breathe in, turn to the left. And one more. And let your arms come down and just relax for a second. Take a couple breaths in at your leisure. And then get ready for the next move. And we're going to exhale, put our chin down, inhale, slowly lift your head up, exhale, come down, inhale, come up, exhale, down, inhale, up, and back to center. Just kind of catch your breath for a second. And then you're going to breathe in, slowly turn your head to the right. Breathe out, go all the way to the left. Breathe in, go back to the right. Then come back to center. And for these next moves, we're going to do neck circles. I really suggest being gentle with yourself here and not trying to do more than you can do, but breathe in. And you don't have to go the same direction as me. Just try to do 3 neck circles and find a good rhythm with your breath. And then once you get to 3, you can go back the other way. And again, don't worry about being synced up with me. It's really not important. And catch your breath for a second. For the next one, I'm going to open my eyes because it might be somewhat confusing. You might not be able to see my eyes anyhow, depending upon the size screen that you're on. So I'm going to point with my hands actually to start this off. So we're going to breathe in and look up with our eyes. And once you see what we're doing, you should probably shut them so it's not so irritating. And then breathe out and look down. Breathe in and out and in and out. Next, we're going to do a left to right eye movements. You can start with whatever side. So start centered and breathe in and go whatever direction, and then breathe out. Slowly move back to the other side. Breathe in and out and in and out. Finally, this is our last eye exercise. It's just going to be the counter clockwise and counterclockwise motion. So take a breath and just pick a direction and go with it, and then do 2 more cycles. And once you've done your 3 cycles, go back and then do it the opposite direction. And before we move on, rub your palms together and build up a little bit of heat from the friction. And then gently set your palms over your eyelids and just kind of let your eyes feel the warmth. Take one more deep breath in. and then exhale. This next move is one where it's highly encouraged to be very gentle with yourself. Put one of your legs out in front of you like this, and you're going to lean forward as much as is comfortable for you. And with this, it's not so much forcing or pushing, it's really just being comfortable and breathing into it for a little bit. And once you feel comfortable with that, pardon me for 1 second. Excuse me. Put your other leg out in front of you like this to support you. Take the first foot that you had, or first leg you had stretched out, and cradle it like this, and kind of slowly rock back and forth. What you're trying to do is massage your butt cheek, basically. We hold a lot of stress there. Many of us do, and this is a good way to alleviate it. And then you're going to take your forearm here and lay down and kind of do this a little bit more intensely. Now, it might be very tender if you're first starting this. And I know when I'm under stress for an extended period of time, this can be more painful if I've been holding tension there. So if it hurts, you might have needed it. We're going to do the same thing on the other side now. And again, it's not trying to force anything. It's not trying to push. It's really just kind of being easy and gentle with yourself. And I guess while we're sitting here, it's a good time to touch back on the card that came up. The goddess of fire, right? And it's about this passive or receptive creative principle or desire. In this position, it's very passive. And we're kind of just allowing ourselves to be where we're at. We're not striving or pushing too hard. We're just kind of letting what our limit is reveal itself without trying too much to get there. And when you're ready, extend the other foot out, cradle this one in your arm, or rock it like a little baby. Maybe not so rough if it was a baby. And then come down on your forearm. And just try to work it out. Come back up to a seated position. Put your feet out in front of you like this. And this is called butterfly pose. It's really just kind of gently rocking your legs like this. And working these muscles out in here. And again, gently, gently, gently. I'm going to take a sip of water real quick. Now this next part, if you're able to lay down, if you're in a space where you're able to lay down, it would be better. You can still do this sitting. It's not a big deal. It's really whatever is personally comfortable for you. And while you might be a little bit warm right now, it may be good if you have a blanket or a hoodie or something like that to put that on, because once we do these next series of moves, we're going to enter a meditative state as well. And your body temperature will drop. Okay. So this is called progressive muscle relaxation. And what we're going to do is you can watch me on this first one. breathe in, and you're going to tense the muscle in the back of your thigh to lift your foot up. So it's not really like lifting it up, it's tensing the muscle, and then release and let it come back down. Breathe in and tense. Breathe out, release. Breathe in and tense. Breathe out, release. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side now. Breathe in. And in. And in. And if you are doing this and sitting down, just tensing your muscle is enough. Like, doesn't have to lift or move forward or anything. Next thing we're going to do is you're just going to tense your butt. So just squeeze your cheeks when you breathe in and then release and kind of let them relax. Breathe in, clench. Breathe out, relax. And then breathe in. And out. So the next move that we do is stomach based, and you breathe in and pull your stomach flat and in and up, kind of like you're sucking your gut in. Try to fit in a pair of jeans or something, and then breathe out, relax. Breathe in. For me, this is like trying to fit into pre-quarantine clothes after gaining the quarantine 15. We're going to do one more. Breathe in. And out. Now we move on to the arms, and you're going to, again, make a fist and clench your arm, not really lifting it up, but just flexing the muscles. Let it down. Breathe in. And out. And in. And out. And again, on the other side, clench and in. Release and out. One more on this arm. Now we're going to move on to the shoulders, and you're going to breathe in, bring your shoulders up to your head, kind of like you're scrunching them. Breathe out, let them come back down. Breathe in, bring them back up, out, and down. And then one more, breathe in. Out and down. And the last move of the progressive muscle relaxation technique is you're going to breathe in and scrunch your face up and lift your head up. And then breathe out, bring your head back down. And if this hurts your neck for whatever reason, just scrunch your face. Again, none of this is meant to be aggressive. It's all meant to be gentle. And before we go any further, just lay here for a second or sit, whatever you're doing, and just notice your breath, not trying to control it, not trying to do anything with it, just observing. And while we're sitting here observing, start listening to any sounds that are outside of your room or outside of the house that you're in. And just notice the sounds without trying to name them. Just bring them to awareness. And now bring your attention of what you're listening to the outskirts of your room, to maybe what might be just on the other side of the wall or on the other side of the room. And lastly, bring your awareness in even closer to where you're just focusing on the sound of your own breathing. The next thing that we're going to do is a body scan. And I'm going to name a part of your body, and you're just going to bring it to awareness and then kind of say the name in your own mind. And we'll go through this quickly and just be gentle with yourself if you kind of lose where you're at. And we always start with the right side of the body, right hand thumb, first finger, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, palm, wrist, forearm, bicep, armpit, side, hip, thigh, kneecap, calf, ankle, heel, right big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, little toe, the whole right side of the body, the whole right side of the body, left hand thumb, first finger, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, palm, wrist, forearm, elbow, bicep, armpit, side, hip, thigh, kneecap, calf, ankle, heel, sole of the foot, left big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, little toe, the whole left side of the body, whole left side of the body. Right buttock, left buttock, lower back, middle back, upper back, right shoulder blade, left shoulder blade, back of the neck, back of the head, top of the head, forehead, right eye, left eye, nose, right cheek, left cheek, lips, teeth, tongue, chin, jaw, front of the neck, right collarbone, left collarbone, heart, upper abdomen, lower abdomen, the whole body. The whole body is relaxed. And just sit here for a second and come to awareness of how your body feels and how your mind feels. And we're going to count back from 10 to 1. And do this in your own mind. We're going to breathe in and say 10. So 10, you'd say in your mind. And then breathe out and say 10 in your mind again. So breathe in and go on to 9 and so on. If you're still breathing, you can finish counting when you get there. But I want you to start to bring into awareness a flame. And it can be a big flame, a small flame. It's whatever you personally see when you think of a flame. And take into awareness if the flame is steady, like a candle in a windless room, or if the flame is flickering, like there's a strong breeze. And just keep the flame in your vision, your mental vision. And think of a desire or something creative that you want to pursue, something you'd like to see come to fruition. and see if that changes how the flame responds. Because we're using this flame as a representative of that desire. And much like flames, desires or goals have the same requirements. If we don't feed them often enough, they will burn out. There will be nothing for them to stay lit on. And while they might keep us warm for a while, even after the flame has gone out, eventually it will go cold unless we restoke the fire. And if we put too much energy or attention onto the fire, too much wood, we suffocate the flames and the fire goes out too. So, what we actually need is the proper awareness of how to cultivate that. And tonight's card is asking you the question of what desire could benefit from you stepping back from it and having more awareness of it and looking at it more intuitively. How could less be more? For the next part of this, I want you to think of a friend, a family member, or even just an acquaintance who you've noticed is very passionate about something, but to the point where they almost try so hard that they are suffocating their own dreams by all the effort that they're putting in. They're negatively impacting their own desires. And the next thing I want you to think of is another person in your life, or it could be the same person, who has another desire or dream or goal, but they're not taking any action on it. And see how that negatively impacts them. And this isn't about judging them. What we're going to do next is imagine radiating compassion and kindness and sending them some compassion, self-compassion, to where they might have a different state of awareness in moving forward. Send out a couple more good thoughts towards somebody. And then I want you to just feel what it's like to radiate compassion to somebody with no expectation of them knowing anything about it and with no expectation of getting anything in return from it. And if you've noticed, there's a hidden reward when you're able to do that. Just enjoy that feeling for a moment. Now, the next part might be trickier for you. I want you to think of something that you're passionate about or that you desire very much, where you might be putting too much energy into it. You're overfeeding the fire, you're suffocating it. And then think of another area of your life that is most often getting the short end of the stick or not getting enough attention because of this other desire. So you're letting this other fire burn out because you're focusing on this other one. And now I want you to offer yourself the same compassion and kindness and understanding that you did for somebody else. Offer that to yourself. And understand that sometimes part of the process is the discord or the confusion or the chaos of trying to live in both worlds, to live a spiritual life, but then also to still be connected to the material world. Because it's possible to become so entrenched in the material world that we're of no real good to others. And it's equally possible to become so entrenched in the spiritual world that we're of real no good to others or ourselves even. And it's really about having awareness and finding what our center point is. That's an individual process. As the meditation comes to a close, there's a few more things that we need to do. The first one is I want you to visualize the tone or the feeling of your week. How do you want your week to feel? I'm not asking you how you think it's going to feel. How do you want it to feel? And once you kind of know what that feeling is, just feel that feeling for a little bit. And then think of how you would act if you felt that way. How the situations that you know that you already have coming up in the week ahead, how they might be different if you had that state of awareness or state of being. Make it as visual as you need to and make it as real as you can. And I offer this as a symbol of encouragement. If this is not easy for you, it doesn't need to be fake it till you make it. It's okay. Sometimes we discredit things and think that we can't do it. And really, when we stop trying, much kind of like the energy of the goddess of fire, when we stop trying, it comes easier to us. And now that you've set your tone for your week, I'd like you to think of one gift, spiritual gift that you'd like to receive or try to practice or cultivate this week. And while it needn't be what I suggest, I think that this suggestion might be helpful. think of something that would benefit you and other people if you were to receive it, whether that be a deeper state of compassion and kindness towards others, whether that be just more patience. What is the one spiritual principle or skill that you would like help with this week? And this is the final thing I want you to think of, and we'll kind of have a moment of silence afterwards and just sit there before we move on to the next part. I just want you to take a moment and appreciate yourself and offer gratitude and thanks to yourself for showing up to this and making time for this, and for making yourself a priority, and for giving yourself this attention, and ending one week with a healthy habit and starting a new week with a healthy habit. Just kind of honor yourself for the next few minutes. So if you're laying on your side, keep your eyes closed if you can. Take your right arm, if you're able to extend it out to your side, extend it out, and then slowly roll onto your right side in a fetal position with your head rested on your right arm. And just sit here for a second. And with your eyes still closed, if they are, put your left hand down by your right elbow and slowly push yourself up into a seated position. Eyes still closed if you can do it safely. Rub your palms together again to generate some warmth. Place them over your eyes. And you can open your eyes now. And for the people who are watching this after the fact, we are going to stop the video now and then transition into a discussion. And if you would like to join us for some of the discussion sometimes, there's a link in the description for you to find out when our next event is, and we hope to see you there. And thanks for checking this out. And everybody else, just hang tight for 1 second.